So this subdivision is going to be 127 townhomes. This name up here, Via Leone, is my grandma's maiden name, and she was everything to me, and I wanted to leave a legacy. Most people start with a house that exists because it's easier to prove to the bank the value of the home and the land. And it's easier to get a mortgage with someone like me as a mortgage lender, where financing for a piece of land can be a lot more complicated. This is my fourth or fifth subdivision, and this is my largest one. So this part is the first phase. It's 58 units. And all the heaping mountains of dirt and fill, this is going to be the other 66 units that backs up to a golf course. So to build 127 units, it'll take about a year, and each unit costs me about $250,000 just to build. That doesn't include the land. But I definitely advise you to buy land because they're not making any more of it. Here's the reasons why it's more complicated to buy land. Land is harder to finance because the first thing is when the market drops, the land loses most of its value quicker than a piece of land that has a home on it. Most people, if they lose their job, they're going to pay their house mortgage first before they're going to pay their land mortgage. This is why it's more difficult for land financing, because it's just a riskier product for the bank. So this right now doesn't look like a lot, but it's literally $10 million worth of work. The things that go into it is bringing the power through, bringing the sewer, the water. Because there's a hill over here and a creek over here, we had to bring in fill dirt so we make sure that all the homes are safe from flood. Obviously, land is less valuable if it doesn't have water or sewer on it. And you have to consider access for a piece of land if it backs up to a public road. That is not a school. That is a church. So it's a church right next door that you could walk to. It's a Christian church. The supermarket and the new YMCA is about a mile away. And then we could walk to the golf course. If you see, it's right there. The new thing is everyone seems like they have a golf cart, and everyone just wants to not go far from their community. They want to be within a mile to 2 miles to have all the amenities. So the great thing is you could get a golf cart, you can drive to the golf course. They also have a restaurant and a bar. And so everything's within 1 or 2 miles of this vicinity, but then you also get an amazing luxury house with 360 views. The other complication for financing for land is the zoning. When land has a house on it, you already know that it's zoned for residential use. Land could be tricky if it was previously zoned agricultural. It also depends on city planning. For example, I bought a 16-acre plot that at the time, the city only allowed 1 house per acre. So 17 years later, they changed the plan, and now I can have 8 to 15 homes per acre, which is a developer's dream. So in the beginning of the development, if you already have picked out the land, then what you start doing is you start getting plans done, and plans on what are you going to build here and how many homes are you going to be able to build with the comprehensive plan with the city. Getting the plans together can take anywhere from 6 months to a year to 2 years. It really depends on who you're working with and the different cities that you're working with. Once you get the plans ready to go, then you can submit it to your local authorities. Getting it submitted to the local authorities, then you have to wait to get in front of the city council, and they will talk about your subdivision, and then they'll approve it or deny it. In this case, they denied it at first. We had to make some changes, and then 2 months later it did get approved. But that process probably took, from plans to getting it approved, probably took about 2 years. When we brought it to the city and it got denied the first time, they really liked the plan, and they just thought it was forward thinking and thought, okay, well, the city will need this in probably 2 or 3 years, because they thought it was gonna overcrowd the schools and the fire department couldn't get to this area fast enough because it was on the outskirts of the city. So in this specific case, it worked out better that I waited to develop this land. If I would have done this before, I would have had 4 luxury homes on this property. Instead, I get to build 127. These townhomes are gonna have a great view of the mountains, and they're also gonna be 3 levels. And the third level is going to be outdoor living, 1,000 square feet of outdoor living. So you're going to have 360 views of the whole valley and all the mountains. And listen to all these birds too. It's like you're in the middle of the city, but really on the outskirts. So you get the best of both worlds. The fill dirt that we had to bring into this project was $1 million. And it's hard to understand when you're not doing development how free dirt can cost $1 million. So when you do a subdivision as well, they want a certain percentage to be common area and parking. So even if this was flat, we wouldn't be able to put a home on every part of the piece of land. So what we did do is along this area in the hill, it's almost going to be like a trail so people could walk their dogs or exercise, and you could feel like you're outside of the city, but you're really in the city. So it's going to be really awesome that there's going to be a trail and an obstacle course along the way, probably around 1 mile to 2 miles. So you see over there that concrete pad, that's going to be a common area with a child's play set and grills. So we have to build a bridge over this creek to connect with the other subdivision, and that's about $350,000 just for a walking bridge. Just to build the bridge is like $200,000, and the extra money goes towards the pump station. Another added cost and surprise cost is the porta potties for the workers. And it's about $100 a month for these, for one. So you see that sign over there? Ours is going to be double in size, and it's going to cost about $80,000. So I don't know if you've been adding up all these numbers, but this subdivision is going to cost me about $10 million. And on that $10 million that I have borrowed, that interest is costing me about $100,000 a month. And if people really want to know why I work so hard, is because after holding on to this land for 17 years, I just really want to finish this project. Make sure to subscribe and follow along, because I'll be taking you through this journey as we finally start to build up the subdivision, and I'll be informing you when there's definitely going to be more surprise costs. I'm the Audrey Approach. See you next time.